our daily Bulls look at the college football bowls coming up every day.
Pistol Pete's back.
Yep, I'm back. Yesterday, what was the bowl yesterday?
There was
there were 3 of them.
There was. And Mississippi State, I had them on a half in the game, and Dan Mullen said, my team came out flat. I thought they were ready. I don't make an excuse. They got lucky and won 17-16. They blocked the field goal with 1 second left.
And I'll tell you what, if you remember we were discussing that one, you remember the point Drew Martin brought up? He was like, does it bother you that it's an 11 a.m. game right after Christmas? And I said yes. I didn't say it didn't bother me. I said yes. But now I'm thinking it should have bothered me a whole lot.
Exactly, and it didn't bother me one bit, and Drew was right. But you know what? Hindsight's 20/20 because the 3 before that, we nailed them all. So
that's right. You win some, you lose some. You win some more, you lose some more.
That's right. So I'm hoping our viewers out there got some good questions and anything you want to know. There's 4 bowl games today, Pistol Pete.
4 bowl games, yeah, and some interesting ones because Minnesota is Mike Renner, this is your area of expertise. Motivation and psychological stuff. And I don't know if you looked into Minnesota, but what's up with them? Are they, is all that turmoil? The line has jumped
big time.
5.5.
And I grabbed it at 6.5 on our show, and now I saw 10. Is it 10?
It's up to 10, which is great.
Yeah.
Still, though, anything can happen in these bowl games.
No doubt.
Stuff all the time.
No doubt. But I think Washington State's going to be ready, Pete. I know they're. Yep, I do. I think they just really figured out they're worthy of that ranking that they have. They played a tough schedule, played some tough teams. And I think they're ready. I think Minnesota, something's going on with that team. I know they got some off-field issues they're dealing with as well.
Yeah.
I want to add the first half as well. I'm jumping all over the first half on this game.
You like the first half on Washington State, huh?
Sure do. Yep.
Yeah.
Right now, probably grab it at 5. I think 5.
So that guy Rivercraft is out, but they have a ton of other guys, so it doesn't really matter. That's one of the good things is that when injuries happen to Washington State, their secondary, that matters very little.
Exactly. So I like it. I think this team will be ready to go. And again, 8-4 Washington. I think they were 8-4 this year, if I'm correct.
Against the spread, or
no, regular straight up. And I'm wondering what the ATS is if you had that information.
Actually, Washington State was. I mean, last year they were cashing. Last year they were the Colorado of this year.
Yeah, exactly.
But this year the market did catch up. I think they were close to it here. Jesus Christ. All right, sorry.
That's all right. We got number time.
Yeah. Do we have any questions coming in? Maybe not. Yeah, right. Washington. Exactly. That's right. Refreshing my memory. Washington State started out this year gangbusters, just as they did last year. They always seem to lose their opening game to the FCS team, and then they
turn it on.
Yeah. Then they covered their next 4, but then the market way caught up, and they had 3 straight up wins. They lost ATS, and they had a couple of wins, and they had a couple more losses. Yep. So they were kind of up and down.
And they're feeling good about their ranking. They did get ranked in the top 25 at the end of the season. So I think they're going into this thing looking at it like it's their Super Bowl. So I like it, Pistol. I'm all over it, and I'm glad I grabbed it at 6.5 on the opening again.
Great line there, Mike Renner. And anyone who watched our video and tailed them on that one also got that line. But I don't know. It kind of reminds. Sometimes you see, and Minnesota was in general a very middling. Fair to middling ATS team. They had some covers, but they pushed their last 2 road games where they were a big dog.
I don't think they're going to be motivated. I really don't. Something tells me there's a motivation factor, and with that line moving, I think that's just going to be in our favor. Any questions out there?
We got a few guys chiming on the Washington State game. Actually, someone, Manny Mann's, pointing out that the Washington State quarterback announced he's coming back for a senior season.
Ooh, that's huge.
Yeah, also pointing out Minnesota's had 10 players suspended.
Yeah.
So 2 things you're talking about, motivational factors, right?
Sure. Yeah. Here's a quarterback going to want to show his wares again and made a big decision. That plays a lot into it.
Now, someone's asking about the Boise State game.
Yeah.
Trap game going down to -7.
Ooh.
I don't know about that, but I think that the total on the over is a trap. I think that probably the under was the way I was leaning. We also got information from Brent from BetDSI that early sharp action came in on the under there.
Yeah.
And so it
might be the way to go.
Yeah. And we've certainly seen some wacky total stuff. Like I was all over the under in the BC game yesterday, and we saw what the hell happened.
God, yeah. Oh,
who the hell saw that one?
That was Yeah.
I mean, someone probably did, but I sure that's
But now with Boise State facing Baylor again, Baylor, the under might be because Seth Russell, who was responsible for the 5th-ranked offense that team had, when he broke his leg, that changed everything. In Boise State though, they're pissed off. That loss to Air Force really stung hard. And what I'm gathering and what I'm reading is the coach said the players are taking it out. They're ready to get back on the field. They want to get back on that field, and I'm wondering if Boise State might be the edge here. What's that line sitting at, Pistol?
Well, it opened at 7. Didn't you take Boise State in some way or another in our shows?
I think I might have.
I'm pretty sure you did, but it opened at 7.5. Now it's up to 10. And yeah, let me see. Yeah, it's up to. Oh no, sorry. It opened. Wait. Hold on a second. What am I looking at here? What the hell am I looking at here?
Uh-oh, you better get that porn off of there. Get the porn off of there for later. Here you go, Zach.
Too much porn. All right. Let me close out all the porn. Just give me 1 second. Close out all the porn. There we go. It opened at 10. Now it's down to 7.5. Or 7. So yeah, that's a tough one on the side. I would lean to the under though.
And what's that number again?
The total is 68.
Ooh, yeah.
The side is just too tricky because Baylor,
but their defense is so bad.
Yeah,
it's so bad. Oof.
The problem with Baylor,
I'm off that game myself. I'm off. Okay. I think I might have been on Boise State with a teaser. I'm not sure. I will check it, but if I did lock them in, ooh, that's something. I don't think I did.
Let me pull up. I think I have.
Pistol Pete's got it all there. And wait till you get that tablet they bought us for Christmas. Yeah, you're gonna have a new toy for Pistol. And he's got his new Yankees hat on, guys. He did. He followed suit and finally got rid of that brown one. That one's gone.
Oh no, I still have it. It was just like I finally looked at it this morning and I was like, I can't.
I'll throw it in the washer and then it might just disintegrate.
I do need this. Eventually they do. Yeah. All right, and then so I guess if I had to give a best bet of today's card, I think it would be the under in the Boise State game.
Okay.
I understand why that's risky and why a lot of people might disagree with that, but that is what I would do here. Let me see. No, you didn't give Boise State.
Okay, thank you. I thought maybe if I did, it would have been on a teaser.
No,
I know I was gonna, but I didn't. Yeah.
All you have officially is Washington State -6.5, -104. Yep. Line there.
Yeah. Later on, I'm gonna add something. Now, what about that Temple versus Wake? We have any questions on that? Because that's a really
lowest total of the night. Got a guy asking Temple and Wake Forest over.
Yeah, I would lean over. I haven't pulled the trigger.
What's the number at?
It's 41.
Wow, that is low.
I believe it's 41 here.
And Wake's offense is pretty putrid though. Oof, I don't see them score more than 14 points.
Yeah, Wake. It's 41. It's 41. And the similar game that we saw yesterday was the Vanderbilt NC State game, and I actually that's one that I did bet on the over, and it was one of those. It was one of those low total games that I bet on the over that I didn't tell anyone about because if it went way under, I would have been a total idiot. But I did bet it, and I have the same feeling about the Wake Forest Temple game. And obviously, Wake Forest has a very limited offense, but no, I would lean over on that one. Yes.
Yeah, because interim coach Ed Foley, he took over because obviously Temple Scholl, he took a job at Baylor actually. Ed Foley, they love this guy, and he's actually playing for a job because the players are behind him. They want him to be the next coach. So I think you're going to see a team rallying around their coach going, we're going to get this one for you. What's the side at?
The side is 11.5 or 12. That went down a little bit from the opener of about 13.
Okay. Oh yeah, it did go down.
Temple, of course, was cashing game in.
They were. Yeah.
Temple was like, when you say cashing game in, came out, they literally did. They covered everything except for the first week.
Yeah.
First week was an ATS loss.
I think first half might be a good edge.
Single game, which is unbelievable. And I was on them a couple of times.
Just hit me, Pete. Again, momentum and emotion. I love that. I think this plays into this whole thing. When you have a coach that the team wants him to be their guy early. I think this team comes out early in the first half.
Temple.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I got to jump on that one.
I mean, Wake Forest was Wake Forest was okay from an ATS perspective. They were actually, decent. I mean, they had a bunch of covers that were like they were a massive dog, and then they just covered by a few points. So they, could have gone either way.
I'm just wondering how motivated they are right now. Yeah. 6-6 year, a little disappointed. Again, a team just underachieved. So I don't know. I like Temple there. I'm going to jump on that first half.
But to answer the guy's question, yes, I would lean to the over. But my best bet of the day, I think, would be Boise State under 68.
Ooh, Pistol, he's liking that.
That's what I think.
He's liking that one.
Mike Granner, your best bet would be Washington State -6.5. Unfortunately, that's not available.
Not available.
Would that be 9.5 at Washington State?
Yeah, I would take that. But no, actually, you know what, Pete? Because I nailed the full game at 6.5, locked it in, I should say. My best bet on that game today, first half, and I think I looked at it earlier, it was 5.
Yeah, less than 7 for sure.
Yep. So even if it's 5.5, take it. I think that's the best bet. That team's going to want to come out early and show what they got. They're excited. They're excited, and that goes a long way.
We've actually got some questions on that topic. People wanted to know, how do you determine if you're going to bet the quarter, first half?
Yep.
What are you looking for? What makes something jump out?
Exactly.
Well, first, I can answer this, but then the expert here will give his opinion. He's the one who's actually given picks that have been the actual winners long term. But I know the factors that you want to look for. One factor would be depth, right? Teams that have obviously, you know, a talented starting. Oh, well, actually, he's talking about college football, right?
Yeah, with football on a half and a quarter. Yeah. And I'm just thinking it's momentum. Like today, you have a coach that made an announcement. I want this, you know, I mean, you know, I'm talking about for Temple. He wants this job. All right. The players want him to have that job. You're going up against a team, all right, Wake Forest, it's not a threat offensively. They're really, I just don't see a 6-6 team getting motivated. Temple was cashing tickets. They were fun to watch. They fly all over the field. That's why I think the advantage is early. It's early. And if I see a big line movement, like from a 7 to a 9 or something, that tells me something also. A lot of times I'll pull the trigger on that. But I study teams that start early, and then I couple that with coming off a bad loss, or like Pete said, if it's basketball and there's a depth in the bench, whole different issue. But that makes a big difference. It's huge. So,
and I would say for football, there's 2 things. First of all, general team tendencies, as Mike Brenner just said. And then the other thing is just obviously teams are motivated to win the game. But they're, you know, presumably they're more motivated. Favorites are more motivated to cover the first half spread than they would be to cover the full game spread. You know what I mean? And perfect example of that would be like Alabama, right? Team that you know, is constantly you know dominating as a massive favorite, but then not necessarily turning it on in the second half. And as Mike Brenner said, that's partially something you can assume about all teams, but also partially something that's specific to Alabama team tendencies. So
and just to make an example of that with basketball, last night was perfect. You had the Rockets coming off a rare loss. All right, and James Harden said, I can't wait to get back on the floor. They were at home against the Phoenix team, all right, that they beat up, scored 125 points against the week before, all right, coming into Houston now, all right, and Harden saying, I can't wait to get back on the floor. So I put it out in the video yesterday. First half was -7. It moved up. And the game was -13. It moved up. All right, I took the game, which normally I wouldn't with Houston, but I took the first half because of that statement. And you know what? They were up by 8, 2 minutes into the game, covered the first half. The first half ended, they were up by 21 points. Now, the full game, they covered by 1, but it was lucky. A guy got a late foul. It was a fluke, honestly. And I covered my full game on the pick. But as far as betting, there's why I like the first half. There's that angle. I can't wait to get back on the floor.
But I feel like basketball first half and football first half
total
very,
different.
very different.
Oh, totally. They're night and day. But I was saying, as far as like the emotion and coming off a loss, all right, you have a Washington State team that's just so high on themselves right now, right? They really feel like they can build off of this. So I think they want to start it early. So how about the Army UNT? That's an early game, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Pointing out some interesting stats. Madman's 19 saying, you know, Army is 0-6 when favored by at least 10.5 points.
See, good point, good insight right there.
Yeah, and but the line has gotten bet up. That's a game that here. Let me.
I'm still shaking my head. UNT beat this team down 35-18 this year.
Right. But there were 2 things huge for that game.
All right.
1 was weather, 2 was turnovers. Turnovers was a huge. That was a very, very, very misleading score.
Okay.
So I can understand why. Just to keep that in mind for anyone who didn't you know, wasn't aware of those factors in that game. Very misleading score.
Hey, you did build the tickets for NBA, right? Did you? Did you make the tickets for the NBA show? I know, but I'm just asking.
No, I didn't.
Okay, we got to get on there as soon as we're done.
I know. Behind the scenes stuff.
That's right. Hey, it's all natural, baby. It's organic. I'm looking at that paper over there going, holy shit.
A glimpse into the sausage factory here at SBR Videos. But
yeah, the weather was a factor. Turnovers were a factor with UNT versus Army last time.
Right.
Yeah. 5-7 though. You got a 5-7 team getting a bowl bid. I mean, come on. I don't get that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, to give you an example of how many in that game, North Texas forced 7 turnovers. Since then, they forced 6 in the entire season.
Right, and 7 in that one game.
Yes.
So that's obviously that's not going to happen. That's huge. Okay. So, what do you think, Pistol, on a lean?
I would actually be leaning Army there, but I'm definitely not going to bet it.
What's the total sitting at?
48.5.
48.5.
49 or 48.5 or so.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, 48 and a half. It's going down. So I would have leans to the under and lean to Army. So you know, maybe a smaller lean to the under. But
okay. Yeah, I'm off that game bet wise. I'm not touching that one. Any other questions for these bowl games today, guys, before we wrap it up?
No, it looks like we covered all the bowl games. So there's some guys asking about middling. How many points you need to be successful in trying to
doing a middle.
Yes.
Okay. The problem with middling is that you're basically paying double juice.
Exactly.
Right? And so if you look at the math, it's rare that you would ever. I'm talking about strictly from a mathematical perspective right now. It's rare that it would be worth it to go for a middle, but not actually to take a position on the other side. In other words, usually if the other side starts to have value, it quickly starts to have so much value that you'd want to actually take a position on the other side. I'm talking about that from a mathematical perspective. In my experience, middling is usually something that you want to do as little as possible because you're paying double juice yeah, because you're paying double juice. Because you're paying double juice, and the math doesn't really say that. Yeah, you know, usually even if you make a bet that you later on wind up not liking, again, it's rare that the math indicates that you should actually take it back. It's usually better for you, you know, because like let's say you make a bet into a 45% proposition, you still have a 45% proposition of winning. So you know, to take it back on the other side to avoid that is usually not a good thing to do mathematically.
Good question, though. Great insight, and thank you for it.
Yeah, but then again, if it moves a lot, you know, certainly it can start to have value for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, go ahead, Pete. Wrap it up.
Okay, that's the odds couple college football bowls preview for Tuesday, December 27th. So some kind of weird bowls, bowls that I'm not really liking. But definitely tune in tomorrow for the Wednesday because there's 4 bowls that involve picks that Mike Brenner and I have already given officially. That
big day tomorrow.
Other bowls that sharps have come in on, and some interesting line movement regarding those bowls. I could discuss it right now, but I'm not going to.
No, save it.
We'll watch tomorrow.
Exactly.
So tomorrow and,
definitely.
Wednesday the 28th, 10:30 Eastern time.
And again, Pete and I have picks in this games tomorrow, so you don't want to miss the breakdown. And if you will, get some questions ready that you might have for us, and we'll just break it down together, and we'll cash those tickets together. So bet responsible, guys, all right? And build that bank and beat your bookie with the odds couple at SBR.
Okay.